I'm joined now by Patrick Marley in our Madison Bureau. Thanks for joining us, Patrick.
Hey, thanks, Mary.
So the budget seems to be pretty stalled at this point. What is Governor Scott Walker proposing we do now?
So the budget is definitely stalled. They can't agree on transportation. They can't agree on education. The governor's out there promoting the budget that he put out in February, but he is talking about one issue in a sort of a new way, that being transportation and the prospect of doing some kind of tolling. That's an idea some legislators are interested in. He said that he would be able to live with having tolls if we put them just along the borders, particularly of Illinois, and then we used some of the incoming money to reduce the gas tax. So the idea is that many Wisconsin drivers, especially those who don't leave the state, would see a benefit, while the out-of-state drivers would start paying more for our roads.
I've been calling that the Illinois tax, or a slur for folks from Illinois, but I don't think we can say that on TV. So it seems like he's trying to target the Illinois.
It is a little bit like, I think there's a famous Tommy Thompson quote of "Stick it to Milwaukee." This would be "Stick it to Illinois." Right. I think that it's an idea that's out there, but really this is kind of on the margins in the grand scheme of things. This would be years away. We don't know what the federal government would think of just having tolls just along the borders. There may be some constitutional problems with that under the Commerce Clause. And you would cut off some of the revenue you would be making by lowering the gas tax. So realistically, how much money it would get is unclear. How that money could be spent, if it would have to be focused just on the areas that we're told. I don't think we have the full details on that. But it does show that the fact that people are clinging to that tiny bit of news, that everyone's looking for any kind of sign of any progress with the budget, which there's not much of lately.
What about on the education front? Is there any progress in that area?
So things have actually gotten worse in terms of the budget standstill, because for months we've thought that transportation was their big hang-up, and it still is. But this week the Assembly came out with their own plan on education. The governor doesn't like it. The state Senate doesn't like it. And so that again shows there are huge divisions on a very big issue. The governor wants to put in about $650 million more in school aid, sort of spreading that out on a per pupil basis. The Assembly is interested in helping out, in particular, districts that have spent low levels in the past, saying that they've been locked into a funding formula where they can't get enough money per student, and they should be able to have a much bigger raise in how much they can spend per student. That would mean more state aid. It would also mean increases in property taxes, or the ability to raise more from their property taxes. The governor wants to keep a tight lid on property taxes. Although property taxes would be cut under the Assembly plan, he wants them cut more than their plan allows.
So we've got Republican Governor Scott Walker, we've got a Republican-controlled Assembly, and a Republican-controlled Senate. How rare is it that these guys can't work it out amongst themselves? We've got one-party rule, essentially.
Yeah, we do have one-party rule, and it's unusual, certainly. I mean, I think 2 years ago, around this time, there was a little bit of a pause in budget deliberations, and things got hung up. In hindsight, those problems then don't look as severe as they do now. It could be they get this all figured out in the next 15 days and we forget all about this. It's looking right now that it could be more serious than that, and we could have a big budget delay. Usually you don't see that unless you have split control. So the last time it really happened was in 2007, when you had a Republican Assembly and a Democratic Senate and a Democratic governor, and they went into the fall. They were unable to agree on a budget. And everybody was blaming each other. It's a little harder when you have one party in control. Voters might not hear Senate Republicans can't get it done or Assembly Republicans can't get it done. They just hear Republicans can't get it done. So it becomes a little bit of a problem in terms of optics.